All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you are new. Thank you for taking time out of your day to check the video out today. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover here today. So before we dive into these topics, I just want to once again remind you to click the link in the pinned comment below if you haven't already, so you can allow yourself to be gifted memberships here on the channel. I'm going to have to continually remind people of this because there are many people who are still unaware. But we are going to dive right into the first topic here, which talks about the UK regulator, that being the CMA, and how it has apparently been revealed that they're not just blocking Microsoft's deal with Activision Blizzard, but it's going to be blocked for about 10 years. This is being reported by PlayStation Universe. It says Microsoft's proposed Activision Blizzard acquisition could potentially be blocked in the UK by the Competition and Markets Authority by as much as 10 years. The regulator announced last week that it had decided not to support the planned acquisition of the publishing powerhouse, citing fears that the Xbox format holder may end up dominating the cloud gaming market. Unsurprisingly, Microsoft has announced that it will contest the decision, and Bobby Kotick and similarly expressed his disappointment over the CMA's decision. So yeah, this is just something I wanted to let you guys know about because it's pretty much news to me, and I'm sure it's news to a lot of people. This isn't just something that the CMA comes out, blocks it, and then Microsoft can try again. No, if they successfully block it and this deal falls completely apart, it's going to be blocked for a minimum of 10 years. So figured that was worth pointing out. Moving on from that, we have an article here from Push Square that I figured is worth going over. It says $70 games could be hurting PS5, PS4 sales, but there's more to the story. As we approach the PS5's third birthday, it seems like Sony's console has been going from strength to strength lately. There are reports that conflict with that assessment, however. As an unbiased pillar of PlayStation coverage, we thought it only fair to present a different side of the story. Over on Tweaktown, it was determined that while PlayStation hardware and software have been generating record-breaking revenue for Sony, in terms of actual units sold, sales are down. Editor Derek Strickland breaks it all down for us. The article continues, while the numbers don't lie, we would suggest there is slightly more to the story. Game sales may have gone down, but overall revenue is up along with prices in certain regions, which would imply that a smaller group are spending more money on the games they do buy. It's harder still to lay blame squarely on the $70 price tag, considering the pandemic-induced upheaval of the last few years and the cost of living price increasing almost daily. We also wonder whether Sony is even bothered by this state of affairs. After all, as a company, does it really matter if you are selling fewer copies at the end of the day when you are making more money overall? And so, yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know about this because there is some data that has come out to suggest that the $70 price point for AAA games is causing, less sales overall, which to me isn't that surprising. I think there are a few other things to consider. The fact that I would say the lineup of AAA games the past couple of months hasn't really been the strongest, not anywhere near strong, I think, as to like what we saw at the same time last year. But yeah, we do have to factor in other things such as the cost of living, just continually increasing, and people are going to be a little bit more conservative with their money. And, that might cause people to say, you know what, I'm going to pass on this game for whatever reason. It certainly doesn't help that multiple games are releasing in unfinished, unpolished states. That's definitely going to dissuade the consumer from spending $70 on a game they may have been looking forward to. But yeah, it's interesting because Sony's, in terms of revenue and how much money they're making, it seems to be having no impact whatsoever. They're still breaking records. So make of that what you will. Moving on from that, I just want to briefly acknowledge that Redfall has officially released today. And this was a game that was supposed to release on PlayStation 5, but as we know, Microsoft requested that Arcane scrap the PS5 version of Redfall because they were in the process of acquiring them. And as we know now, Microsoft plans to make all future, or at least most future, Bethesda titles exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem. And unfortunately for Microsoft and Xbox fans, seems like Redfall is not doing too well. It's clear that it released in a relatively unfinished state. It needed more time, but what makes that even worse is that if you look at the reviews, apparently people are saying that just fundamentally speaking, from a game design perspective, it's very flawed. It's really just not a good game. And it's one of these situations where you have to wonder how this game would have even performed if it did release on PS5, because it is a $70 title that Microsoft is releasing. And if it did release on PS5, that's the only way people would have been able to play it. And something tells me it likely would have flopped. So I don't know. Maybe Microsoft saw that coming. It's hard to say, but just figured I would let you guys know. This is the situation with Redfall. Moving on to the next topic, though, we have some good news, I think, for PlayStation. Some impressive news on top of that. PlayStation has been making consoles both for dedicated use at home and portable for decades now, and though it had two absolutely stellar entries in the handheld market with the PSP and the PS Vita, the mainline numbered PlayStation consoles have always been the main focus. With the company's recent reports on PS5 console sales, PlayStation has hit an industry landmark. As was noted, it has now sold more home dedicated consoles than any other manufacturer to date. PlayStation has sold over 500.5 million home consoles through the collective unit sales of the first PlayStation up to the PlayStation 5, not including the dedicated handheld PlayStation consoles. And it beat everyone else to that landmark number. So, yeah, that is incredibly impressive. Sony is the first console manufacturer to sell over 500 million units in total of their home console. And, I think that this is great because it really does highlight why the PlayStation console is still the main priority of Sony and with the PlayStation brand. They understand that people love the console, they support the console, and as long as you continue to deliver great games throughout each console generation, chances are, people are going to continue to go out and buy those consoles. And so it is a business model that I think has not only been proven, but, we're still seeing Sony out here doing great things, breaking records with the PS5, and this is another record that they now set. So, yeah, love to see it. Moving on to the final topic, though, we have an update on the PlayStation 5 Pro. I have an article here from WCCF Tech where the title reads, PlayStation 5 Pro is 100% in development at Sony. Tom Henderson claims first dev kits being sent out soon. They say here the PlayStation 5 Pro is real and development kits of the high-end PS5 console will be sent out to developers soon, according to known leaker Tom Henderson. Back in March of this year, Henderson reported that Sony is working on a PS5 Pro model in a similar fashion to its PS4 Pro model. This beefed-up PS5 console is said to be released in late 2024. At least, that's what Henderson wrote in an article on Insider Gaming. No further details about this rumored Pro model were shared. Since then, the known leaker has claimed that Sony is working on other new hardware as well, including a Q-Lite handheld and a PS5 Slim model and more. None of this new PlayStation hardware has been confirmed by Sony just yet, and as such, we aren't sure if Henderson is spot on with the information he claims to have. In a new article posted by Henderson on Insider Gaming today, the leaker claims that the PlayStation 5 Pro is 100% in development at Sony. As a matter of fact, dev kits of the Pro model are said to be sent out to first-party studios in the next couple of months. After that, dev kits will also be delivered to third-party developers. Henderson's article ends with what has already been said about the release timeframe for the PS5 Pro, that being that it's currently scheduled to release in the fourth quarter of 2024. So, yeah, I wanted to be sure to talk about this because, again, we got rumors of a PS5 Pro, but a lot of people were like, I don't know, maybe Tom Henderson's wrong. Just doesn't make much sense. But no, now he's doubling down on it, not only saying it's 100% in development, but now he's giving us a timeline of when developers are going to actually be receiving the dev kits for the Pro model of the PS5, with first-party studios getting first dibs in just a couple of months, and then not too long after, we are going to be seeing third-party devs getting their hands on it. And to be honest, as we get closer to this PS5 Pro and it becomes clear that this is a real thing, I can't help but find myself more interested in it and getting a little bit more excited because, games do look stunning already as is on the PS5, and it's obvious that the PS5 has nowhere been like tapped out. Like there's still so much there left for developers to do. But the idea that Sony wants to bring out a Pro model that can do even more than the PS5 currently can, I don't know that I'm necessarily opposed to that. It's probably a console I will actually get day one. So there you go, a pretty significant update on the PS5 Pro situation. That's going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found it informative. Leave it a like if you did. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the bell notification icon. And feel free to share the video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.